Every time I see that orange-faced orangutan asshole get out there and talk and blow his fucking cheeks and be the egregiously obnoxious human being that he is, and now he's trying to win an election with trying to take more gullible people under his tent by making basically this a political point, when it's the people who are sponsoring him and promoting him and fostering him for president that have led us to this point. I get pissed. I get pissed when we get lied to. I get pissed when we get fucked around. It's just like climate change. We know what to do. We know what's going on, and we know what to do. With climate change, we know what the reason is. It's burning the fossil fuels and the pollution and the blah, blah, blah. We already know. It's not a fucking argument. It's accepted, settled scientific fact. But yet, some people, basically the people, mostly Republicans, but I'm sure some Democrats, that take money from the oil industry and the energy industry and the fossil fuel industry and all these other big industries, they get paid to prevent anything being done. They get paid to shade the issue and say, well, no, anything isn't proven. Yes, it is. It's fucking proven. We know exactly what's causing it. We're melting the fucking planet that we all live on, but because these fucks get paid off and aren't going to live long enough to see the actual result of this shit hamper them, we can't do anything about it. And people try, they come out and say, well, here's what we need to do. And we all know what we need to do. And we know what's going on. And it gets ignored. And Donald Trump, the guy who wants to be the leader of the fucking free world of the president of the United States, actually goes even one more. He goes even a shade stupider than the regular Republicans. And he says, well, it was made up by China because of to get an advantage on us in trade. How about fucking the Easter Bunny? The Easter Bunny created global warming and climate change. Why not just say that? And some of these fucking people actually believe him. This is what I'm trying to do. More people need to say this shit because more people, sane people, reasonable people need to take some fucking action against these fucking people because they're dangerous. They're dangerous to our lives, our livelihoods, our way of life, our goddamn environment, our homes, our families. They're dangerous to all of us. We know what to do about climate change, but we won't because they block it. We know what to do about all these mass shootings. We know exactly what to do. Stop giving these people fucking guns. But we can't do it because the NRA and the gun manufacturers, as we've mentioned many times, pay millions of dollars a year to the Republicans in the Congress and the Senate, et cetera, to make sure that they keep on fucking us up the ass and selling more guns and getting more people killed just so they can make some more money because they figure they're never going to have a problem. I wish that the president of the NRA, what's his fucking name? Do you even remember, Brian, that insignificant twat that's head of the NRA?
Wayne LaPierre.
There you go. Wayne I wish his fucking kids were in that nightclub in Orlando. I really do. Because then maybe he wouldn't get a fucking clue. He'd rather have the money than his fucking kids get shot in the head 6 times. But I am sick and tired of all of the sane, rational people, and many of them are out there in the United States. Many of them are out there in the cult of Cornette. We've been retweeting. We've been getting emails from a lot of people who know exactly what's going on, but we don't do enough. Some of us don't do anything. The other ones don't do enough. If you're not part of the problem, you're a solution, you're part of the problem. We need to be part of the fucking solution. And it embarrasses me. Not only does it piss me off and make me mad that all these people, once again, were shot and killed and maimed, and all these families going through this shit. And it's big news on the fucking, on the TV and on the news and in the newspapers and the magazines and et cetera, and nobody does anything. People try for a while, but they get knocked back down because they think they can't fight City Hall. And so they don't do enough. So I want all the sane people, all the rational people to get fucking mad enough about this that they will do something, anything. We know exactly what we need to fucking do. We just ain't doing it. And we're letting these assholes, these NRA fucks and these gun fetishists and these conservatives and these Republicans take their money, sweep it under the rug. This one fucking flaming asshole Republican politician in Tennessee was already planning on raffling off. Did you see this? An AK-15 or AR-15 or AK-47 or whatever the fuck they are. He was going to raffle it off at one of his political meetings, and he's still going to do it. And not only is he still going to do that, but he actually came out and said that every man and woman in America should go out and buy a gun right now to protect themselves. That's going to solve this fucking problem.
Well, you know, they said that the stock for all the different gun companies has gone through the roof the last few days because everyone has gone out and bought guns.
Because they're fucking idiots and they think this is a goddamn Western movie like they used to make in the fucking 50s, and they'd go see the double feature. John Wayne would shoot all the fucking bad guys and everything would be right. You fucking morons. I've seen so many people try to excuse this shit or try to reason away. One moron tweeted, well, the Second Amendment is to protect the people from government overstepping their bounds, like Billy Bob once again in his militia in Montana. Let's say the government does overstep their bounds. Let's say the government says, okay, we've all got to be raped with a rusty fishing knife next Tuesday, and it's mandatory. And you know what we're going to do if the government oversteps its bounds? Two things, nothing and fucking like it. You fucking morons. How delusional can you be that a band of ragtag fucking citizens that work at the goddamn Mobil station are going to get together, even with their AK-47s and their semi-automatic rifles and their whatever the fuck, and drive over to Washington, take care of this problem, and be back for dinner on fucking Wednesday? You fucking idiots. Anybody who says shit like that, the normal, sane, responsible people in the world ought to slap the fuck out of them. Just slap them. Just fucking slap them in the fucking face. Another guy was talking about, well, you know, goddamn, if you have guns, the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. No, the thing that would stop a bad guy with a gun is if it wasn't so easy for the bad guy to get the gun, because in every other civilized country in the fucking world, they don't have this shit because it's not so easy. You can't eliminate it, but you can try. Does that mean we sit back and do nothing? You can try to do something. There is no excuse for people to be able to have semi-automatic weapons. Where, once again, we've talked about this before, where do you draw the line? Should we draw the line at hand grenades? What about hand grenades? Or what about goddamn rocket launchers? Or fucking bazookas? Where are you supposed to fucking draw the line with this goddamn fetish, this sexual fetish that people have for the Second Amendment that another guy tweeted, and I agree with? You should stop worshiping the Second Amendment like it was written by God or geniuses. It was written by men who rarely bathed and believed in witches. Why do people think that the Constitution of the United States or anything in it is perfect? It was written by human beings. Much of it was written by human beings 200 and some years ago when leeches were cutting-edge medical technology. And there were no such thing as automatic rifles. We've talked about it before. And muskets for everybody. Okay, give this rednecks their fucking muskets. It's ludicrous that anybody outside law enforcement and the military, and even then I question law enforcement, should be able to get weapons like this. But this fucking guy in Orlando, not only did he buy the shit legally, but also because even though he had been investigated by the FBI twice, even though he had been investigated by the authorities for domestic violence, even though he obviously had something going wrong upstairs, he was a security guard. You hired this guy, somebody out there hired this guy as a security guard. And because he was a security guard, that minimized the background checks, the little bit of background check that he was supposed to go through. Because he was a security guard somewhere, which the George Zimmerman syndrome. Want to be a cop so my big gun will make up for my little dick and I can push people around. This guy, he was ashamed he was gay. He was fucking mentally fucking fried to begin with. He's hired as a security guard. He buys automatic weapons legally. And then he goes out and he kills 50 people and shoots 50 more, and people are fucking surprised. But once again, well, it's not the gun, it's the shooter. No, it's the shooter with the fucking gun, moron. Where is the cognitive disconnect between normal or otherwise normal, rational people who buy the Republicans' line of horse shit, or who believe in this conservative fucking philosophy that goes nowhere and is always proven to be fucking the worst thing possible, or believes in this goddamn perfection of the Constitution, except for the 30 sometimes. How many amendments are there?
I don't know.
I've lost track. Was it 29 or 31? Except for the 30 sometimes that we realized, oh shit, we left that out. We forgot about that. We need to put this in. We need to clarify that. They flip-flopped on alcohol twice. First it was legal, then it was illegal, then it was legal again. But the Second Amendment that everybody jacks off to, oh my God, it's documented. It's the fucking Constitution of the United States. It's goddamn, it wasn't written by an IBM computer last week. It was written by people hundreds of years ago. Shit has changed. And we have changed, just like the boys are their own worst enemy, right? You get a good fucking rate at a hotel, and one of the boys is going to get drunk and fuck up the lobby, and then you don't get the rate. Well, guess what? We had a good run with the guns, folks, but the people are their own worst enemy, and they fucked it up, so now we shouldn't be getting the guns. If, you know, I have nothing against, although when you go to the mall and you fucking look around, and how many of those people would you trust with a semi-automatic rifle?
Not too many.
How many of those people would you even trust with a fucking handgun shoot 6 times? Not too many.
No.
But if everybody's got to have a gun, okay, fine. Handgun, 6 shots, boom, protect yourself in your home. That I can fucking live with, I can deal with, and we would stop the mass carnage, because if he's a real good shot, he may get 6, but in a crowded room, so number 7 is going to lay him out, right? With a goddamn good right hand. That's all you need. There's no reason. I hear this argument about, well, sportsmen and hunters. First of all, let me talk to the hunters out there. Fuck you. You fucking sick, psychopathic sons of bitches. I have deer running around my backyard early in the morning, late at night, especially in the spring and fall. They're out looking for something to eat. I occasionally throw them a few things out to fucking eat. They're beautiful animals. They're bothering nobody. Anybody who can point a gun at a deer, and an innocent deer doing nothing to anybody, and shoot that fucking deer, unless it's attacking them, and when was the last time you heard of a deer attack? You got something wrong with you as a person, as a fucking human being. You got something wrong with you. If you can kill any animal that ain't attacking you, you got something wrong with you. Much less doing it for fun, much less these rich fucks that go to Africa and kill the lions and all that other stuff. I'm just talking about going out in the fucking woods in Peoria and shooting a deer or a rabbit or any other animal that's not bothering you. You got something wrong with you. You are a sick motherfucker, and I wish they'd arm the deer. I wish they'd give the deer the same kind of gun you got. Let's see how big your balls are, motherfucker. You'd be running like a goddamn bitch, skipping down the fucking street going, please don't shoot me, Mr. Deer. Because that's all you want to do is let your big gun take up for your little dick and prove that you're the master of your fucking species and you're the fucking whatever the fuck. You're a sick motherfucker. So hunting, to me, is not a goddamn rational excuse for giving people multiple guns, people with mental problems, multiple guns, people that live in the house with gun nuts that have mental problems that can steal the fucking gun. It's not an excuse, hunting. Go out with a bow and arrow if you think you're goddamn Tarzan or you're some kind of man, or go after the goddamn wild boar with a fucking knife. Whatever the fuck. Go on fucking safari with a goddamn spear like they did in the old days. You fucking assholes. So that's not an excuse. Target shooting? Fucking shoot targets with rubber fucking bullets. What does that mean? I hate these motherfuckers. You see them on TV that want to take these machine guns and go and shoot fucking cars and fucking junk fucking appliances and shit out at these ranges and blow shit up. Once again, little dick syndrome, but also what that noise and fucking mess. And what fun is that? What fun is that? That's not a reason for people to be publicly massacred just so you can go out and shoot a fucking 57 Chevy up in a goddamn woods somewhere. Protection, once again, we covered it. If you need more than 6 shots to protect yourself, you're either in some place you ought not be doing something you ought not be doing, or you're fucked anyway. A massive home invasion, you're fucked. If you can fire 6 times at a motherfucker and he still keeps coming, you're fucked anyway. So can you think of any other rational explanation, Brian, why anybody needs weapons like this, or why anybody needs multiple guns, or why anybody needs firepower exceeding 6 shots and all this heavy duty shit, any rational explanation apart from military service or fucking law enforcement, SWAT teams? Am I missing something?
No, I can't. Let me say a couple things here, Jimmy. One is, on the topic of handguns, again, the part of the problem is this guy who was investigated multiple times can just go to a gun show and walk out same day with a gun without a background check.
Yeah.
That's a problem. When it comes to, I have someone who's very close to my family. He's like an uncle, and he all of a sudden in his later years has become a gun nut. And he has something like 20 something guns. And, because he watches Fox News and he's afraid that, someone's coming after him at some point. So I said, where do you keep all the guns? He goes, I have them in a safe deposit box. I said, so if anything happened, you weren't
what's he going to do? Go to the fucking bank and get the shit? Hold on, crook. I'll be right back. Don't break into my house yet. I got to run to the bank.
And one last thing I want to say about the AR-15 specifically, which is the semi-automatic weapon that was used for this massacre in Orlando. Yesterday, General Michael Hayden, I believe, was on Morning Joe, former, retired 4-star general, former head of the CIA, worked for Republicans and Democrats, former head of the NSA. He said something that I think, is the big takeaway for me. The only use for the AR-15 is killing people. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. He's saying that there's no reason people really need this gun. It's a tool for killing people. That's it.
And Victoria from down in Florida, fine member of the cult to Cornette, she tweeted, and I wish I had it in front of me because it wasn't just a tweet, it was a picture so you could read all the text. But basically, it detailed all the things that the Republicans in Texas have made women go through just to be able to get an abortion. It's hundreds of miles away, and you've got to sit through videos, and you've got to be lectured, and you've got to walk past protesters, and there's a waiting period, and it costs a fucking fortune, and they've limited the amount of clinics. If they made it as hard to get a gun anywhere as they do to get an abortion in some of these places, then there'd be a lot less people get shot. And once again, you can't stop everything. But if we started now, and unfortunately, as I've said before, guns are the only thing that the United States of America makes anymore that doesn't break down within fucking 2 years. My air conditioning in my house right now is a goddamn example of that. I'm sweating like a whore in church. But if you started now, then in 20 years or 50 years, as these things break down and they weren't replaced, eventually you would have a situation where there weren't more guns than people in this country. Also, where was it, Australia, that did the buyback program? They ought to, right now, what we all ought to do is we all, first of all, we ought to vote a lot more Democrats in office. But we all ought to demand the buyback program. You have to give any gun past 6 fucking rounds of ammunition. You have to sell it back to the government. If they find it, they're going to take it and they got to pay you for it. But you got to sell it to them. And then they can melt all the motherfuckers down except if they're needed for law enforcement or military. That would be a wonderful way to start, to get some of these things out of circulation, because now the black market is ridiculous. Since there are more guns than people, the black market is still ridiculous. Yes, and that's why everybody says, well, then just the unlaw-abiding people would get guns. Not if there weren't any guns to get, motherfucker. We've already fucked up, and we need to start doing something now about climate change for 3 or 4 generations from now. We also need to start doing something about the guns for 3 or 4 generations from now. It's like we're all already fucked. We're liable to get shot at any point, especially if we elect Donald Trump as president and it's going to be a nuclear war. But that's beside the fucking point. Or how about this? How about the next time that 26 grade school kids get fucking mowed down in their classroom or 50 people get shot in a fucking nightclub? The Republicans take as quick action as they did when they were afraid that somebody was going to try to tickle their taint and fondle their balls in the bathroom. And what did it take them in North Carolina? 24 hours? 24 hours to fucking enact a law about the transgender people going in the bathroom at Target or whatever. But when's the last time you heard of a transsexual transgender person wandering in the bathroom at Walmart and shooting fucking 50 people with an automatic weapon?
Yeah, never.
Okay. Then where are the fucking priorities? There are sane politicians out there. Elizabeth Warren last week just gave an incredible speech where she told people what Donald Trump is, who he is, and what he's trying to do. And I see what he's trying to do because I was a heel wrestling manager. I know exactly what a fucking promo is. You're trying to get people on your side by making them scared and making them mad and making them fearful of the shit that they don't understand because they're either not real educated, which Donald Trump does wonders with people who are not educated. His polls are huge. He's great. He's fantastic with stupid people. You ever hear him say that? He should, because he is. That's the majority of people that's fucking supporting him is fucking uneducated people. But I get so mad when I hear the people say, well, the politicians, Democrats, Republicans, they're all the same. No, they're not. There is no appreciable similarity whatsoever between Elizabeth Warren and Ted Cruz. One is a former law professor who speaks intelligently and rationally and passionately about problems that we really have that exist in this country. That's Elizabeth Warren, in case you're wondering. And Ted Cruz is a goddamn religious psychopath, a fucking nutcase, a conservative goof that looks like Grandpa Munster, and would take our country back 20 years. I'm being charitable there. That's Make America Great Again, Donald Trump. Again indicates a resumption of greatness. And we still got a lot of work to do, apparently. And I don't know what era is he talking about that it was so great that it's not great now? Was it before we had air conditioning? Or was it just when it was great for all the fucking rednecks and hillbillies and basically dumb white people that he appeals to, rather than any minority or any or women or fucking gays or goddamn anybody that's anything different than the fucking goofs that support him that are probably also people that like to go out in the woods and kill fucking animals because of their small penises. Once again, Barack Obama comes out and makes an incredible, well thought out, articulate speech about the problem and how to solve it. He said before he can't do it. He can't do it by himself. He can't just wave a magic wand, even as president, and enact gun control because, number one, it's not within the president's power, any president. Number two, if he did, then there'd be the fucking hillbillies going, well, black guy's going to take our guns. He said we all have to stand up and do something, and we all ain't standing up and doing anything. And after this, he once again, not only did he say that he can't do it by himself, but also this fucking whole thing on radical Islam. And yeah, the Muslims got mad at me here last year just because I said I think all religion is completely fucking foolish, and there's been nothing that has caused more war, more murder, more genocide, more homicide, more persecution, more strife and misery and pain in human history than this irrational belief in any religion, in fictitious supreme beings that fight it out with each other in our imagination, and we have to take up for the guy we're pulling for, whether it be God or Allah or Buddha or whoever the fuck. And I said the Muslims take this shit more seriously than most people, but I'm starting to question that fucking theory because I think the Christians are just as bad. Because this all boils down to, once again, he said it's not a war on Islam, Muslims. It's not. It's a war on nuts, and it's a war on nuts that have easy access to fucking guns. And if we're supposed to be the greatest country on earth, which I tend to question these days, then why don't we be the bigger of the countries in the world? Why don't we tell all the Muslim countries, look, we're putting you over in the God sweepstakes, your guy wins. We withdraw our fucking nomination as our God being the all-powerful God. We're putting you over. Allah's the guy. We're not going to argue with you about it anymore. Take Allah, go on back home, drink a bowl of Valium soup, and chill out about it. He's yours. He's the guy. We put him over. Because it's just like a fight between Santa Claus and a fucking Easter bunny. It's fucking ridiculous in this day and age. All these people getting killed and murdered, races of people. Civilizations being brought down. In India, I just read on the internet, so it must be true, but I know that it is because it's not unusual, and this is reported everywhere. The honor killings, where parents actually kill their children because they marry someone outside of their faith. This woman actually poured gasoline on her adult daughter and set her on fire out in public, and then went and crowed and told everybody about it because she married a guy that was not of their faith. These people are fucking lunatics, and they're sick, and the reason for it is because of this irrational belief in religion. And why are these people so fervent? Because how do you learn anything else, Brian? How do you form who you are? How do you learn anything in life? What makes you grow up to think the things you think?
The environment that you're brought up in, what you see, what you hear, what you're around.
Exactly. And basically your parents and your family and the way you're brought up and the things you're brought up to believe and that's how prejudice is perpetuated. That's how every belief is perpetuated. And from a very early age, a lot of these people, the Christians and the Muslims and every other faith and religion, they put kids in, they indoctrinate their children. And I think it's a form of child abuse. If you are telling a 4 and 5 and 6-year-old kid, hey, now listen here, there's a God and a devil and a heaven and a hell. And if you're not good all your life, then the devil will get you and he'll put you in hell where you'll burn in fire and brimstone and eternal damnation forever and ever for all eternity. That's fucking that kid's head up. You should be ashamed of yourself for blatantly lying to your fucking children and scaring them. And even then, it's not like there's a good part of this thing, because they also say, now, also, if you're not good, God will get mad at you. And if God gets mad at you, he's going to strike you down and he's going to do this and that. And also, he'll probably strike other people down that are around you because you fucked up. So it'll be your fault that all the rest of those people get killed. And God is a vengeful God. And God fucking turns people into salt and fucking smites people and all this other shit. People should be ashamed of themselves for mentally abusing their children in this day and age with horse shit like that. It's not right and it's not fair. And that's why these people grow up to be basically nuts. If you've already got some mental issue to begin with, and you hear shit like this all your fucking life, it's like the movie Carrie come to fucking life. They're slapping these kids in the face with the fucking Bible, right? Because of shit that they can't control and things that they didn't even do wrong. And they get mentally fucked. And if they've got any goddamn problem anyway, then that just increases it. This guy was upset at himself because he was gay. Why? Because God will be mad. That's why they don't like abortion, because God will be mad. They want more unwanted children. They want more misery on these mothers that are stuck in a bad situation and can't do anything else about it. God will be mad if you're gay. God will be mad if you do this. God will be mad if you do that. It is the 21st century. And I can understand in Afghanistan or Pakistan or some of these fucking countries where these people are still, in a lot of cases, basically cave fucking people. But in the civilized, organized, modern, educated world, we have put a man on the moon. We have computers. We've got all this shit. But still, a majority of people, even in this country, and supposedly the most enlightened country in the world, are, as Bill Maher says, who I admire, still believing in Bronze Age myths and superstitions, and they're fucking their kids up as a result of it. And that contributes to the problem. And I cannot understand, once again, self-inflicted wounds and manufactured crises, whether it be doing nothing about climate change because the fossil fuel companies are paying for the right to continue to melt our fucking planet, or whether it be gun control that we can't get because the gun manufacturers and the NRA pay the right people, and the hillbillies and the uninformed and the backwards ass thinking fucks that want to support this shit, they take up for it. So the rest of us get shot. It's not our fault. As Davey used to say, I wasn't even there. It was Owen. It's not our fault, but we still get shot for it because they won't allow anything to be done, because they fucking squeal like a pig under a gate anytime somebody tries to do something. And these fucking religious fantasies about who God is going to be mad at and what they've done to get him mad and what he's going to do about it, and that we should all repent. And that fucking slimeball Pat Robertson, who came out and said, well, the gays have brought it on themselves. This is God punishing them. I wish somebody punished. I wish the biggest, most aggressive, ugly gay man in the world would hold Pat Robertson down, film it, and put it on YouTube as he fucked him relentlessly in the ass and ask, what's your God doing about it right now? Because you know what? You can pray in one hand and you can shit in the other one and see which one fills up first. We've got to be grown adults and come to some semblance of fucking sanity and come to realization that if we want things to be better, we have to work toward doing that ourselves. You can't pray for it. You can't wish, which is the same thing. You have to actually do something. So I'm sick and fed up when I see Trump out there and these people. I don't know where is the disconnect that you cannot look at that man and say, this is a fucking con job. He's cutting a fucking promo. He doesn't know what he's doing. Even his own members of the party that he has taken over admit he knows nothing about foreign policy. Boy, that's a real good president to have, especially with the problems we got going on these days. He knows nothing about anything except how to fucking cut promos and fucking be Donald Trump, which if this wasn't the fate of the world hanging in the balance would be fun. But since it is, it's not. And we have had a president for the past 8 years that I don't know why Barack Obama doesn't just come out on network television and say, you know what? I gave it my best shot, but you fuckers ain't worth it. You are fucking stupid, and you're not worth my fucking time, and I've tried my best, but enough of you won't listen, and the other ones won't slap them and make them listen to the point where I'm going to go home and relax, because this job is a pain in the ass, and I can't get anything done. I don't know why. He's a saint. He's got a lot more fucking patience than I would have. Who can look at a Barack Obama or an Elizabeth Warren standing next to a Ted Cruz or a Sarah Palin or a Donald Trump and say, oh, I'm going with this guy's over here? What the fuck? Are you all out of your fucking minds?
You're even hearing a lot of Republicans now saying that about Hillary, that in the aftermath of Orlando, here she is, she's steady. And Trump is still unhinged. And you're hearing Republicans now acknowledging that.
Yes, because the party that nominated Sarah Palin to be vice president of the United States, even they say, you know, this guy, he's fucking nuts. And Hillary Clinton is not my favorite person. And I've said this, of all Democrats that I have heard of on a national stage, she's probably the most dislikable one. Doesn't mean she's crazy. I'm still not sure what the fucking whole email fiasco is about. As far as what horrible crime has been committed, when you've got actually the other presidential candidate being sued in federal court for fraud and et cetera, and they've tried to drum up all these. You think as much heat as Hillary Clinton has, if she had done something that really was bad enough to disqualify her from running for president, you don't think that they would have found it and it would have come out by now? Just like the fucking Trump's the idiot who kept going on about the birth certificate after that was already settled science. Well, I've sent some investigators to Hawaii, and you won't believe the things they've come up with.
Amazing things.
We didn't get a chance to believe those things because he never said what any of them were because there weren't any. But it's just like that. The first black guy wasn't going to get elected president if there was anything. If he'd spit on the sidewalk, if there was anything they could find out, he wasn't going to make it. He was clean, or elsewise he wouldn't have got in there. But they can't admit it. They can't accept it. And I'm sick and fucking fed up with this. And I'm just saying that all of us who have a rational thought in our fucking minds, all of us who actually care about whether or not the planet melts or people get shot or fucking all this other shit goes on, forget all the other things that the Republicans are against, like oversight of Wall Street or oversight of any of our food so we don't get poisoned, or our water so they don't poison us like the fucking governor in Michigan did. Have you noticed it's always the Republican governors that poison their citizens? Anything that, whether it be abortion or whether it be health care, or whether it be anything that can help people, school loan relief, student debt relief, anything that can help people, they're against it. But anything that takes up for God, because they don't want God to get mad, or the people that pay them millions of dollars, they're for that. And it's plain, and it keeps being revealed, and still, what the fuck? Why are people wired that way that they can't see when they're getting fucked? And then not only do they not see when they're getting fucked, but they ask to be fucked some more. I know this is a rhetorical question because there's no answer to it, because we're sane and we can't think like they do. But all I'm asking is, I've started a couple of hashtags. Hashtag fuck the NRA and hashtag fuck the Second Amendment. I think we should spread that around a little bit, but that's just playing on Twitter. We've got to. That's why I get political. And that's why I said everybody gets mad at me for taking wrestling seriously. Okay, maybe I do. I will admit that. I take wrestling too seriously because it's important to me. But I can't imagine what's more important to anybody that I'm speaking to within the sound of my voice right now than the planet we live on, or our families not getting shot and killed, or possibly the fucking stock market not being crashed again so people lose their retirements and et cetera. By the way, have you ever noticed? Look back on every Republican administration in the 20th century. There was a recession or a depression. A recession, a depression, or a war. And the only war that we were really baby faces in was World War II, when we did save the fucking world. And that was a Democratic administration that got us in that and got us out of it. So why the fuck? My God, don't lean on that hot stove. You're going to hurt. That's going to hurt. You're going to burn yourself if you lean on that hot stove, motherfucker. Oh, goddamn, it burns. It hurts so bad. I told you. Go back and look at the fucking history books. Republican administrations generally lead to fucking crisis and chaos in this country, and especially over the last 50 years. My God, we just got off of George Bush. George Bush looks like fucking Stephen Hawking next to Donald Trump. Bill Clinton got a blowjob in the Oval Office. Big fucking whoop. He also, economic prosperity, fucking good things happened. Then you go back to the other Bush, who just got Reagan's third term. Did people, by the way, also forget about Reagan's goddamn his recession in, what was it, 87? And the fact that he started Reaganomics, which has been proven factually to be horseshit. And yeah, Jimmy Carter may not have been the best fucking choice, but after Nixon and Ford and that whole goddamn fiasco, I could have got elected president. And then you go back to Johnson and Kennedy. Johnson signed the Civil Rights fucking Act. Yes, he got in a kerfluffle in Vietnam, and he was enough of a man to say, you know what, I kind of fucked up and I ain't going to run again. And John F. Kennedy, had he had the opportunity, would have done a lot more things for the country, but still goes down as one of the great presidents. I can't remember the last time anybody said, oh, Kennedy didn't know what he was doing. Eisenhower, he was a Republican, but he wasn't a politician. He was the general that won World War II. He was a shoe-in, and thanks to him, we got the fucking interstate system. So Eisenhower, in the last fucking, 75 years, has been the only Republican president worth two goddamn shits. Can you come up with anything else? Am I missing anything?
I would say Eisenhower's the best Republican president of the last 50 years or 60 years. I agree.
No, actually, it would be, let's see, FDR came in 30, how many years is, my God, that's 80 years. So there you go. So for all you people wanting to vote Republican because you think that we're living on the set of Leave It to Beaver and things will somehow go back to where they really weren't to begin with, but you think they were because you fall for the promo, fuck you. Just stay home, please. Don't fuck the country up for the rest of us. Let's get something done. That's what I'm saying. Anybody listening to me, this thing can grow. How did wrestling get exposed? 2 people told 4, 4 told 8, 8 told 16, and it fucking spread. We'll apply this this principle to something good and something worthwhile. Go out and not only just talk about it, not just tweet about it, vote about it. Because so many of the cool people, the rational, level-headed people, they don't vote. They don't get out, and it's only the disgruntled old white conservative fucks, which is why we end up with a government that does not reflect our best interests or all of us. And Bernie Sanders has done more to get young people involved in the vote than anybody except Barack Obama did 8 years ago. And Obama would have done a lot more good things had he not been obstructed completely to the point of shutting the government down. The Republicans shut the government down. Have we forgot about that? Because they were so mad the black guy won and he was going to do some things for some people. And he was going to make some positive steps. They shut the fucking government down because God would have gotten mad. Fuck. Seriously, quit abusing your fucking children's minds. Quit goddamn believing in fucking superstition. Quit burying your head in the fucking sand when people are getting mowed down and massacred in the only country in the world that this shit happens in. And that's the final thing I'm going to say, because I'm getting fucking tired. I'm tired of talking to people that don't listen. I hope some of you'll listen. I hope some of you'll help. The only country in the world that this shit happens in, we look like idiots. If nothing else, we should be embarrassed that supposedly America is the greatest country in the world, and every other civilized, modern, educated country in the world looks at us like a bunch of fucking hillbillies. If they don't really know how serious the situation is, and they're not scared of us, or they're not afraid of what we're going to do to the world or its economy or its welfare in general, especially if Trump gets elected, then they laugh at us because we look like a bunch of rubes and idiots, because we do nothing. Every time shit like this happens, we don't do a fucking thing. And people from the United Kingdom, or people from all over the world, they think, what the fuck? These fucking morons. They've got all these resources and all these people and all this country and all this fucking technology, and they can't handle shit of it. And half the goddamn people, let's worry about 10,000 coal miners losing their jobs so we'll melt the fucking planet for the other 6 billion. I wouldn't, to be quite honest, I wouldn't blame a lot of countries if they didn't get in a war with us trying to take us over so they could run us fucking right so we wouldn't be a danger to them. It's like trying to contain a mental patient. You don't want to fucking hurt him, but you want to contain him so he's not a danger to himself or others. It may come to that point if Donald Trump gets elected. Many other countries around the world may say, okay, it's the Michael Rennie School of Foreign Policy. Day the earth stood still. As long as your petty squabbles were confined to just your small little insignificant world, we didn't care. But now that you have the power to begin reaching for the stars, you're going to fuck with our shit. So we can't let that happen. So do what we say, or we're going to destroy the earth in fucking, 3 days. Klaatu Barada Nikto. Is that what it's going to come to? Can we not be trusted to be the world's superpower anymore? Because there's so many stupid people in this fantasy world of thinking that they're going to restore something that never was here to begin with, instead of doing something positive and constructive about the problems that we know we have and have been identified, and the solutions are out there, and we refuse because we're so independent. Because America's the John Wayne of Marshall Dillon of fucking countries, and everybody's got a gun, and everybody believes in God, and everybody's going to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Good fucking night. No wonder I don't like to leave the house anymore. Fuck. Brian, can you give me any suggestion for any hope of anything changing here? Will anybody just do something? As my mother used to say, just do something, even if it's wrong. Just take some kind of action.
Well, here's the hope. I think it's becoming quite apparent that Donald Trump's not going to be able to win the presidency. I don't know. I know. It's impossible he'll win the presidency. His numbers are staggering. His unfavorables are staggering. They're 70% today. And his unfavorables within the Republican Party are staggering. And you're going to start seeing people turn against him if this continues. And there's no reason to think that it won't continue. And I think in terms of the overall topic, I feel the discussion has grown. I feel, with each massacre, and this is obviously the biggest of all time, with each massacre, there's an outrage, there's an outcry, and then it kind of fades away until the next one. But I feel this one is causing a lot of people to have to act and have to speak on it and think about things that they don't want to think about. And I have hope. In overall, I have hope. When it comes to progressive ideas to help the country, it takes time, but usually they get put forward.
Are we going to live long enough? That's my worry at this point. Am I going to live long enough to see sane people running this country in a positive fashion? I know my dream, I wish they'd invent a time machine. My dream would be to live in a time where people looked back and said, remember when they used to believe in God? You know how quaint it was, and they laugh, and it's in a museum, and they laugh at it, and everybody's getting along because nobody has any reason to fight because there's no differences in religion because there is no religion. Well, then they'd fight over fucking property, but then hopefully we would be advanced enough that we would have our boundary lines drawn, and we would work together, but this is mine and that's yours, and we're all happy with it, and we're coexisting. But I believe if enough people in this country that don't vote or that don't give a fuck or just think that they're all the same, and they're not the same, as has been proven and we've talked about, if they would get out and do something in their best interests and vote and I'm not even going to say Democrats anymore, because Bernie Sanders has enlightened me that I think democratic socialism is a wonderful fucking process and a wonderful fucking concept, and we ought to at least explore it more, and so do a lot of young people. So I think that's the way that we're headed, and I'd just like to be able to live long enough to see it. But at the same point, I just wish I had the hope and the optimism of you. You're younger than I am. You may still be around when this shit happens, whereas I'm getting grumpy because I'm just going to probably live to see more stupid people and not actually get the payoff. I'm going to see the angle, but I'm not going to see the resolution of the program, the big blow off. But that doesn't mean that I don't hope it happens, because it would be nice for people in 50 or 100 years to say, remember when we had trees? Remember when we actually could go outside without oxygen tanks? Or remember back in the old days, back in the 2000s, when they used to just shoot each other for no reason because the government was so stupid they let everybody have guns, even though 8 out of 10 people belonged behind a fence somewhere? And maybe even some mental treatment would be nice, but all those things I would like to, but you're a glass half full kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy where the glass is half empty because there's a crack in the bottom of it and it's seeping out and it's going to ruin the fucking finish on my antique fucking end table. That's the kind of guy I am. But I digress. Anyway, I don't know what else there is to say. I don't know whether I want to say anymore. But this was not the week to me for a yuck it up, entertaining, laugh-filled, hilarious episode of the Jim Cornette Experience, because there's a lot of people out there who don't feel like laughing this week, and they have good reason not to. And if you're not doing something to stop it, then part of it's your fault. And I like to think that I have done things to stop it. I've written articles. I've voted the right way in the past several elections. I've spoken about it, tried to bring some light to it. I don't know what else more I can do, but if somebody can suggest it, I'd be glad to do that too. But just do something, people. The people out there who I can reach. Some of you are beyond help. I get emails and Twitters from people who you're beyond fucking help. You buy into this right-wing conservative shit. You buy into the Trump shit. You buy into the Second Amendment shit. You buy whatever the fuck you buy into. There's a disconnect somewhere between your cognitive ability to fucking form thought and, actually what the facts are. But there's enough people out there who may not be active right now who can be. So do something. Everybody just do something. That's the reason why I wanted to say this today. Next week, we'll come back and laugh it up. If anybody's left listening, because this is just a fucking wrestling guy podcast, you don't want to take it seriously and all you want to do is a little moment's diversion or entertainment, well, then you can come back next week. But in the meantime, if anybody did hang with it, if there's 2 of you and you cause 4 people to get involved or to want to do something or to think right or to fight these fucking people, and those 4, they cause 8 people, and then 8 causes 16, then maybe we can do something. I don't know. But that's why I just had to say what I had to say today, because I'm fucking pissed off. And generally, when I get pissed off, I like to talk about it. Brian, otherwise than that, why don't we just start again next week and try to have some fun?
I think that's a good idea.
No plugs this week. It's not a commercial show. That's what I've got to say. And for Brian and for all the people who give a shit, I appreciate you listening, and we will be back next week with more Jim Cornette Experience.